In this video, we're going to talk about comparing and ordering numbers. So I have an example, and we're going to have 5 values, and we want to order these values from least to greatest. In order to successfully do this, I'm going to take each one of my values and I'm going to put it in decimal form. That way all of my numbers are in the same form and I can easily place them on the number line. After they're graphed on the number line, I have a graphical representation of just how small or large the numbers are and where all the values fit in between. So let's get right to it. So the first one is -3/4. And as a decimal, I know that 3/4 is 0.75. And you can figure that out by saying that 1/4 is a quarter and 1/4 is 0.25. But we have 3 of them, so 3 times 0.25 is 0.75. Or you can plug it in your calculator, 3 divided by 4. Or you can divide it out longhand and say 4 into 3. No matter how you go about doing it, you're going to get 0.75. And in this case, the number is negative. The next value is pi. And pi is 3.14. The third value is 0.3 repeating. So this guy's kind of in decimal form already, but I'm just going to write him kind of an abbreviated form, 0.33. And the reason that I use 2 decimal places is simply because my previous 2 values had 2 decimal places. The next one is the absolute value of -1/2. Well, recall that the absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on the number line. Well, how far is -1/2 from 0? Well, it's 1/2 away. And I know that 1/2 is going to be 0.5. So I'm going to just say 0.5. And my final value is -1.2. He's already in decimal form, so I don't need to change him any. So now I need to plot each one of these on the number line. But so I know which one's which, I'm going to label them. This guy's going to be A. Our pi is going to be B. Our 0.3 repeating is going to be C. Our absolute value of -1/2 will be D. And -1 2/10 will be E. So now let's get to graphing these things. So a -0.75, or -3/4, is going to be between 0 and -1. I know this because there's no whole part here, so I just have a piece of a fraction, or a fractional part. So he's going to go right in between here. And if I have -0.75, he's going to go about right there. And I'm going to label that guy A. The second one is 3.14, so he's just a little more than 3. So I'll put him there and label him B. Our third value is 0.3 repeating, or 0.33. So he's going to be 1/3, and he's just kind of right in here, 0.3 repeating, and we'll say he's C. Now D was 0.5, or 1/2, and he kind of goes right in the middle here, so he's pretty close to C, but he's enough above him that we can realize that D is higher than C. Our final value is -1.2. So he's got a little past -1, -1, and then 2/10 past. So we can put him right here. So there's our E. Now that we've labeled and graphed all 5 values, we can jump back up here and put them in the appropriate order, from least to greatest. Our smallest value was E, and I know he's the smallest because he's the furthest to the left on the number line. So E was -1.2. Our next value is A, and he was -3/4. Make sure to always write the value that they gave you in the problem. Don't write -0.75 and don't write A, because these values were merely contrivances that we came up with in order to help us graph them on a number line. So always write the number that they gave you from the problem. The next one is C, and C was 0.3 repeating. Next one is D, and D was the absolute value of -1/2. And our final value was B, and he was pi. Now we've ordered all 5 of these numbers from least to greatest. So in order to have success in the future, make sure that you have some similar basis with your numbers from which to work. In this case, we use decimals. You don't always have to use decimals. If all of your values were fractions, you could leave them all in fraction form and just do intervals that way and graph them on your number line. And after you've graphed them, make sure when you write them out, you use the original values that were given to you in the problem.